Welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Ted Flint. Joining us today, Assemblyman Michael Novikov, who serves the 45th Assembly District, which includes Kings County. Assemblyman, good to see you as always.
Good to see you, Ted.
Let's
Another
talk about
week.
another week, getting closer to that budget adoption, hopefully, right, in the coming days and weeks. Let's talk about your efforts to improve the quality of life for those who reside in the 45th Assembly District. That's why you are where you are. And one step in that effort is purchasing and installing solar-powered lights on the Ocean Avenue Sheepshead Bay Walk Bridge. Talk about that effort.
Well, first of all, I'm very proud to have this historic footbridge, Ocean Avenue pedestrian bridge in my district, and it's just, a 1-minute walk from my district office. It's the bridge is around 150 years old.
Wow.
It's a wooden bridge. It still serves the community very well. It connects Manhattan Beach and Sheepshead Bay. And people love this bridge. It's not just functional; it's beautiful. And just walking over the bay or walking over the Sheepshead Bay, just makes you smile, makes you feel better because the water is all around. You see those beautiful yachts and sailing boats, and it just makes your mood better. So we love the bridge. We love the bridge. The bridge was renovated last. Let me see. I think last fall, early fall.
Yeah.
It was renovated. It was repaired. A lot of things were done. Was repainted. However, around November, December, we noticed that the bridge doesn't have the lighting. There are I think 9 poles with the lamps, the street lamps, and the lighting was off. We started contacting the DOT, which the agency responsible for the bridge. They said yes. Unfortunately, there is a problem with an electric cable that goes in the water. So, like under the bridge, right.
Yeah.
So there is no way we can, make the repairs until it's gonna get a little warmer, so we can work in the water. But they said, well, we'll try to find a temporary solution for it. We were waiting for a few months. I guess the solution wasn't, they didn't find the temporary solution. And we continued getting those complaints from the constituents, and I saw it for myself. Yeah, I mean, especially at night, it just not you don't feel safe, crossing
Sure.
that bridge without lighting, and it just it's a little it just you have this uncomfortable feeling. And so I did a quick research, like, hey, what if we install solar lighting, like as a temporary solution? Of course, it's not going to give the efficient amount of light that we need, but at least it's better than nothing, I would say.
It's cost effective too.
And cost effective too. Yeah, I'll talk about that as well. So first we decided to go with those small walk lights, like ambient lighting that you put on the stairs, on the rails. And I ordered. And by the way, not even $1 of taxpayers' money were spent. It was my initiative as a citizen, so I just spent my own money on it.
All
So.
right.
Yeah, so I ordered 300 small lights. We installed those lights on the just stick them on the rails, and unfortunately, the lights disappeared within about 5-6 days. I don't know, maybe kids took them. Maybe I saw some of those lights in the water, and that was very unfortunate. And I even did a post about it that, hey, like we're this community is where we're cultural. We're people. We're people with culture. Like
Right.
leave
Sure.
the lights on the bridge. Don't steal the lights. It's not gonna do any good for you, right? You wouldn't be able to like use it unless it's a lot of lights. So anyway, the breach appeared without the lighting again, and I started thinking about, I don't give up, Ted. I don't give up that easily.
That's good.
So I started thinking about another solution, and I found those street lights, street lamps, solar lamps, surprisingly bright.
Huh.
And I ordered those lamps. I spent like maybe a few $100s on it. I called my friend, handyman, and he installed those lights on the very same poles.
Wow.
I mean, they could be there for forever, for not maybe not forever, but for years. And the solution was just a few $100s. Sometimes you just have to think outside the box, and the community is so happy about it. People are so appreciative on this. The lights are still on. They're still there. Nobody took the lights because it's not so easy. You gotta use the ladder to
Yeah.
reach
Yeah.
to those lamps. So it's all good.
Yeah.
The lamps are working. The solution is very, very inexpensive and very effective. And I wish our city would use something, would think outside the box and would save thousands, millions, billions of
Millions.
taxpayers' money by just, thinking of something unusual, thinking of something outside the box. And because for some reason nobody talks about corruption, and corruption is absolutely
Yeah.
insane
Oh, yeah.
in our state, in our city. And
Sure.
this is what makes our life unaffordable, not the free buses, not the government grocery stores,
Right.
but the corruption. I think I already told you about the I took a tour of a regular school, and like renovation of the boys' room is $250,000.
Right.
$250,000 to renovate the boys' room. Why? I'll give you another example, Ted, and we will move on to another topic. I have a Holocaust Memorial Park in my district, and sometimes it gets vandalized. We live in crazy times. So constituents are demanding security cameras at the park to determine who vandalized the park, and we all have a right to have those cameras there. So NYPD is asking for $50,000 to have a security camera there. Ted, $50,000. That's a lot of money. So I started thinking, hey, what do we need there, right? And I found a camera that works with solar. Now I'm a specialist now.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Right. So I found a camera that charges from solar within 45 minutes. So the 45 minutes of charging is enough to cover 24 hours. And it also works without Wi-Fi. So you just insert a 4G SIM card there, right? Which costs like maybe $20 a month, right?
Yeah.
Guess how much this camera is? Just guess.
I wouldn't know. $200.
50.
$50.
Ted, 50 versus 50,000. That's 1,000%. That's 1,000% difference. Can you imagine how much money we're wasting on nothing? Nothing. Okay, maybe they want to, those cameras that police use are more sophisticated. Yes, maybe. But that $50 camera would be much better than nothing. First of all, if you put a sign that, hey, this area is under surveillance, this area is being protected by cameras. It doesn't matter what quality of camera you have.
Right.
It will lower down any hate crimes in this Holocaust Memorial Park. So all we need is $50 and $20 a month. Yes, as a private citizen, unfortunately, I can't, by law, I can't install security cameras in public spaces, but I'm ready to buy it. I'm ready to fund it and give access to NYPD. I'm ready to do this.
That's a good return on the investment for taxpayers.
Oh yeah, of course.
Definitely.
This is how we Republicans, trying to save money for our constituents.
Amen. Let's talk about something that's not quite as pleasant to talk about,
right.
The rise in anti-Semitic acts. We're going to focus on this unprovoked burning of, if I get the pronunciation wrong, forgive me, Hatzalah ambulances in London. Why are they under?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Yes.
Okay, tell us about those.
So we have Hatzalah ambulances all over the city, and the Jewish community prefers Hatzalah ambulance because like for example, there's an issue of men touching women, so women would prefer a female first responder, right? And Hatzalah knows about that. So there are a lot of different details, and believe it or not, sometimes Hatzalah comes earlier than any other ambulance, and they go to some kind of preferred hospitals for the Orthodox community, for the Jewish community. So Hatzalah is great. I mean, it's doing a great service to the community. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know there had Hatzalah services outside of the United States, outside of New York City, and outside of America. And I was so devastated and disappointed to learn that Hatzalah, 4 Hatzalah cars were burned in London.
Yeah.
In one of the Jewish communities of London. Who would do that?
Yeah.
Burn the emergency vehicles of
That's it.
Hatzalah? I mean, how should you? How much hate you should have inside of you to burn emergency vehicles that save people's lives?
Right.
And by the way, it doesn't matter. They're not like asking you if you're Jewish or not. If you call Hatzalah, you're going to be serviced no matter if you're Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter. Nobody asks you.
Michael, can I ask you just as a follow-up? Do they look different than a normal ambulance? Why were they? Why were they singled out?
It's Hatzalah. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, but like the wrapping, the design of it looks a little different, and it says Hatzalah on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So why? Anyone would do that? That's absolutely crazy. That's insane. This is so ugly. I have no words for it, Ted. It just breaks my heart, really. Truly, it just
What is the government's response been to that in London? Those attacks?
Well, the arrests were made, as of my knowledge, and they were bailed. So they're out on a bail. But the investigation is ongoing. That's all we know.
Unbelievable. Well, Assemblyman Novikov, that's going to wrap up this edition. You covered quite a lot of ground here. I like the footbridge. I can envision, never having been there, I can envision it with the solar lighting. It must be
Ted,
nice.
welcome. I'm going to send you a picture.
All right, very good. You want to get
or you can see a video on my Facebook page.
I'll do that. I'll go to your Facebook page.
Sounds good.
You want to get in touch with Assemblyman Novikov, dial him in Brooklyn at his district office at 718-743-4078. Assemblyman Michael Novikov, always a pleasure. It's a quick 12 minutes. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure's mine, Ted. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Assembly Update. I'm Ted Flint.